Hi everyone, welcome to Certified Business Solutions. My name is Lucy Maina. Today we will talk about the controversial China Square. I know most of us have heard about China Square and what happened to it. Stay tuned. How are you, Dr. Kamal?
I am very well.
Yes,
how are you, Lucy?
I'm fine. I know as well you have heard about the controversial China Square.
Yes, it is the trending issue.
What happened to it, fortunately or unfortunately?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
What I think about that is that for me, China Square,
yes,
it was bringing goods which were more affordable to the general mwananchi.
Yes.
Because these are the same goods, the goods that they were selling are the same goods that our people, our traders, go to China, import and bring them bring them back to us. Bring them back to us. And then because they are not very cost effective, there is that cost of air flight.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, the price that they sell to us is not a very friendly price. But now the Chinese have come, and because they have done heavy investment in that business, they are able to buy in bulk, and they're able to
import in bulk.
To buy and import in bulk. Yes. And of course they enjoy many discounts, including the purchase price, even the transport price, the transport cost.
Purchase price.
Yes.
Purchase from their own country.
From their own country.
Are you trying to say that the buying price in their country is different from what Kenyans get?
Yes, for sure.
It is.
It of course when you buy in bulk.
Oh yeah.
When you buy in bulk.
Yes.
And
you are heavily discounted.
Yes. Actually, the other day I had the Chinese person saying that in a day he would sell about 20 million.
Yes.
And whenever he would sell 20 million, he would complain because he would, in his opinion, those sales were very low. So the question is, if he's doing sales of 20 million in a day, how much has he invested? Probably billions. Billions.
Yes.
So when now you go there to China and you invest in billions of money, the cost of a purchase per unit goes down. You are given quantity discount. Even when you are transporting them here to Kenya, you're also given that quantity discount. Yes. Even in terms of insurance, you get a better rates.
Okay.
So they have come now here in Kenya and they're able to compete favorably against our Kenyan traders who go to China to buy.
Okay.
And of course the Chinese, they know where to source for their items at a better price.
Of course, because it is their country.
It's because it is their country.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, their goods are cheaper than the way we would have bought them from the
Kenyan traders who import from China.
Yes. But now the question is, is that not a good thing to a common mwananchi?
It is.
Yes.
It is because if I can get goods at a cheaper price, of course I'll go for that.
Yes.
Especially right now, the economy is a bit higher. It is a bit expensive.
It's very expensive.
So if you get somewhere that you'll get a discount, of course you'll run there.
You will go but now you would be very surprised that many Kenyans or some of the Kenyans, and I would say many because yesterday when we saw the demonstration in CBD.
Yes, and there are a lot of people.
There were a lot of people. I think it is this perception that even when we see cases about politicians, when one politician is being prosecuted by the government because of corruption, people rally behind him saying watu wetu, huyu ni wetu, this is from our community, this and that. But I say people should carry their own cross.
Yes.
If the Kenyan traders are not effective, they are not efficient, and there's another efficient supply has come in place, then they should step back and do what? And watch and learn. And once they learn, they'll come back and again find a way to also continue providing those
compete fairly.
To compete fairly.
Okay.
Actually, that's what made China to develop.
Yes.
In 1978, China was a very poor country.
1978.
Yes, about a few years ago. Probably 40 years ago. But now what happened? Their president by that time went to US.
Yes.
and actually realized he went to US, he went to UK and other countries that were developed by then.
Yes.
And he was doing a research. So at the end of the day, he realized if he allows the giant corporations from US to go and start factories there in China,
yes,
many things would happen. Number one, if those giant corporations set up factories there, the people in China, the population in China would get employment.
That is the first.
Would get employment.
Yes, yes.
But now, how would the giant companies coming from US benefit? They would benefit in this manner. In US, the labor cost is very high.
Okay.
You'd be very surprised that what you normally pay a normal worker here per day, that rate is used to pay a US worker per hour.
Is it? I think I have an idea about it. Is it about the minimum wage?
It is the minimum wage.
In the US.
The minimum wage in US is about $10 per hour.
And it is highly effective in all the companies.
In all the companies, $10 per hour. So someone in US, if you hire someone in US, you'll pay $10 per hour. So if that person is working for 8 hours, and that's the minimum wage. Actually, when US companies decided to take their production activities in China, the cost per unit of labor was 52 times lesser in China than it was in the US.
So even the US companies, they took advantage of that.
Yes. It was a win-win situation.
It was a win-win situation.
Because that time in 1978, Chinese were dying because of starvation. It was a horrible situation. One of their president decided to go and explore what is it that other countries are doing. And then he realized, let's do something. He created something called special economic zone. Special economic zone is when you create a particular zone in a country, and the companies that establish their factories within that area, they are given special treatments. They are not subjected to the same economic terms as the other companies operating in the rest of the country. They are given better tax rates. Even something called the tax holidays. They are told for the next 3 years you will not be paying taxes.
Wow.
So
they are encouraged to invest in those countries.
Yes, the government creates incentive. So what happened in China, companies went there and they started doing production. The Chinese population was employed. Then from there, they started even paying taxes to the government, just like we pay as you earn here. And also the government. So these Chinese who are employed now would be able to send their children to school. And at the end of the day, they would gain more knowledge. So after a few years, now even these Chinese workers were able to learn what
the US people are doing.
What the US people are doing. And the rest is history.
Wow.
That's how China developed.
And we are talking about
40 years ago.
Around 40 years ago.
Yes.
And China is unrecognizable.
Wow.
You know, the problem we have here is we are trying to fight competition. And it's not a very good thing because recently even we have phased out the 844 system, and now we are talking about CBC, competence-based curriculum. I don't know. I don't feel it's a good thing because competition is always healthy. Because when you are better than me, I will try to imitate you, and in the process also improve the quality of my services.
Yes.
But here in Kenya, what we have done is by closing of the China Square. What we are doing is it's like now a wind of change has come, and when a wind of change comes, you have two options. You can build a wall around you to protect yourself from the effects of that wind. Or you can decide to build windmills.
Oh, you take advantage of the wind.
Advantage of the wind, and that wind now will
something that will help you. Electricity.
And you can use now the electricity to do other things.
Yes.
So what Actually, from the Kenya Bureau of National Statistics,
Yes.
the records there says that on a yearly basis, like in 2022,
Yeah.
we imported items worth 500 billion Kenya shillings from China.
500 billion.
500 billion
Yes.
Kenya shillings from China.
Yes.
And how much did we export to China? 20 billion Kenya shillings.
Only.
Yes, only. So people might say that we are giving so much to China,
Yes.
and that means that China is depending more on us than we are depending more on them.
But that is not the case.
It is not the case.
We are depending on China,
We are
considering what we import. We imported from China.
Yes.
And what we exported.
And what we probably,
Yes.
if you look at it from the face value,
Yes.
we are giving so much to China. So someone might think China is depending so much on us because
Yes.
we are giving them 500 billion. And they're only giving us 20 billion.
20 billion, yes, I get it now.
At that level,
Yes.
you might think China is depending on us. But not until you come to realize that China is the second largest economy in the world.
It is the second largest.
It is the second largest economy in the world.
Okay.
The worth of China
Yes.
is 20 trillion US dollar.
20 trillion US
The
dollars.
GDP,
Okay.
the GDP of China
Yes.
is 20 trillion.
US dollars.
Yes. Our worth, our GDP
No, here in Kenya.
here in Kenya, in terms of dollars, is 100 billion. 0.1 trillion.
Why?
0.1 trillion.
And China is 20
And China is
trillion
20 trillion
US dollars.
dollars.
For Kenya, it is 0.1 trillion.
0.1 trillion. 0.1 trillion. So the economy of China is about 200 times bigger
The economy of Kenya.
the economy of Kenya.
Okay.
So what we should do as a country is also to imitate the model that China used
Yes,
for
yes.
them to grow.
And that model, of course, we can see it has taken just a few years.
It has taken just a few years.
Yes.
No, Kenya
Yeah.
is strategically situated and located in Eastern Africa community. It is at the center. And right now,
Yeah.
it is the most developed country in the entire Eastern Africa.
Yeah.
So if we now partner with China
Yes.
and we create these special economic zones
Yes.
for China to come actually and do production here.
Yes.
So what will happen? Two things will happen. They will pump a lot of foreign investment.
Yes.
Foreign investment here.
Yes.
It's called DFI, direct foreign investment.
Okay.
And what that will happen is that the level of unemployment here in Kenya will reduce drastically.
That is true.
Okay? So when now these people who are fighting China Square
Yes.
from being functional here, and they are talking about the level of employment the level of unemployment
Will increase.
I don't think they are genuine. I don't think they are genuine because what would happen
Yes.
is that if China comes here,
Yes.
not only will we employ people who are doing trade with China, who are selling Chinese commodities,
Yes.
but will also participate in manufacturing. So Chinese companies will employ most of us in those companies.
That is true.
And once we are employed in production, then some of us will be entrepreneurs
Yes.
to sell those Chinese goods here in Kenya and also in our neighboring countries,
Yes, yes,
like Uganda, like Tanzania, like Somalia,
Yes.
like Rwanda,
Yes,
Congo.
yes.
And those people, actually, those countries,
Yes.
the investors or traders from Congo, from even Nigeria,
Yes.
they'll be coming to Kenya to buy commodities
Yes.
made by Chinese here in Kenya.
In Kenya.
And what they will be doing, they will not buy those commodities in form of, they will not use the Chinese yuan or currency to buy those commodities here in Kenya.
They will use Kenya shillings.
They will use Kenya shillings.
Yes.
And when they use Kenya shillings, the demand for Kenyan shillings, our currency,
Will go high.
And once the demand for a currency increases,
Yes.
what happens? it increases in value. It appreciates.
Okay.
It appreciates.
Yes.
And actually, if we can even go back where we said that we import goods worth half a trillion
Yes.
per year from China.
Yes.
500 billion from China. So what is the process of importing? The process of importing is these Kenyan importers,
Yes.
the Kenyan traders who import things from China.
Yes.
They have Kenyan money, they go to the bank, whether it is KCB, whether it is NCBA, then they convert
The Kenya shillings.
the Kenya shillings to dollar currency.
Yes.
And by doing that, you can imagine, by doing that, they increase the demand of the dollar.
Yeah.
Now they go to China with the dollar, with the dollars now, and then they convert those dollars into Chinese currency.
Okay.
And at that time, they are increasing the demand for Chinese currency because this time they are buying.
Yes.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So after now they convert the dollars to Chinese currency. Now that's when they are able to buy. So what would happen if now the Chinese companies come and bring their factories here? And as long as we will be buying goods from those companies using
Kenyan money.
the Kenyan shilling, we are good to go. We are totally good to go.
And we will appreciate the Kenya shilling.
The Kenya shilling, because we will be reducing the pressure on the Kenyan shilling.
Yes. And reducing the pressure of the dollar.
Yes.
Because the demand, of course, will come down.
Will come down. The demand of the dollar will come down because right now all the half a trillion
Yes.
worth of goods in terms of Kenya shillings, instead of us converting our Kenya shillings so that we buy dollar, we will not need to buy dollars anymore. The production will be happening here.
Yes.
And we will be consuming here.
Yes.
And actually, from there, the Chinese will be able to export to other countries.
Yes.
And whenever they export, they are exporting in Kenya shillings.
Okay.
They're not exporting Chinese. Once they do the production,
Kenya shillings. Yes.
And whenever they make profit, they'll do what? They'll pay taxes to us.
Yes.
And assuming we have given we have given them tax exemption because they are in a special economic zone.
Yes.
What will happen is whenever they are selling these goods and these goods outside the country, they are exporting goods and they are selling using the Kenyan currency. Again, they're increasing the demand for Kenyan currency. And once the demand of the Kenyan currency increases, it appreciates.
It appreciates the Kenya shilling.
The Kenya shilling.
Okay.
So it gets to a point where
yes.
Right now the exchange rate of Kenya shillings against the dollar is about 134 shillings. Yesterday it was trading at 134 shillings. That exchange rate, if we allow Chinese companies and even other foreign companies to come and establish their factories here,
yes.
What would happen is that we will start exporting using Kenya shillings, and that exchange rate will come from about 133 to even let's say to 120. Let's say to 120. If it comes from 123 to 120, that's a reduction of 10%.
133 to 120.
Yes, that's a reduction of 10%. So the Kenyan currency will have appreciated in value by 10%.
Yes.
That means something good, because right now the national debt that we as a country we owe is about 9 trillion. And out of that 9 trillion, about 50% of it, slightly higher, let's call it 5 trillion,
yes,
is the money that we have borrowed externally.
Okay.
And we have only borrowed externally we have only borrowed internally about 4 trillion.
Yeah.
So the 5 trillion, this is the amount of debt that is denominated in dollar currency.
Yes.
That's okay?
Okay, yeah.
So whenever the dollar appreciates against Kenya shillings, also the size of our national debt,
it increases.
It balloons. It increases.
Because the dollar has increased.
Because the dollar has increased.
And we pay through the dollar currency.
So for instance, assuming that initially, and of course that was the case, just a few months ago, there's a time when the dollar was exchanging at 120 shillings. For 120 Kenya shillings for $1. Then all of a sudden, it is now at 130, 132, 133, 134 there. Now, an increase of 10% in terms of the Kenya shilling depreciating against the dollar. So, in terms of our national debt, the external, which is 5 trillion, it also increased by 10%.
So if we increase the...
5 trillion?
No. If we appreciate the Kenyan currency,
yes,
the loan will
go down.
Will go down because the Kenyan currency will have appreciated by 10%.
Exactly. So in this case,
yes,
the dollar appreciated against the Kenya shillings. So if the loan that we owe the external loan that is denominated in dollars is at 5 trillion, and then the dollar has appreciated by 10%, so the value of the loan jumped from 5 trillion to 5.5 trillion.
Wow.
An increase of 500 billion Kenya shillings.
That is a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now we are saying we create special economic zones,
yes,
then the production starts to happen from here. Then all of a sudden, we don't have to export, to import the way we are importing goods from China, worth 500 billion. So with the time, we will put pressure down on the need for the need or the demand for dollar.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, if we are now at 133, we'll come to 120. And now if the external loan that we have is at 5 trillion, it will reduce by 10%.
So it will
come to about
4.95.
4.5 trillion.
4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 trillion.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.5 trillion.
Okay.
And now when the exchange rate reduces, it's a good thing because there are 4 macroeconomic factors that determines the status of an economy. One is inflation. We come to exchange rate.
Yes.
We come to interest rates, and then we come to the level of unemployment.
Okay.
So we have been able to reduce the exchange rate.
Yeah.
So when we have been able to reduce the exchange rate, then interest rates also goes down. Because we started by production is happening. We have allowed Chinese companies to come and establish factories here in Kenya.
Yes.
So now, because they are selling goods to us at a cheaper rate. Okay. So inflation will therefore come down. Because remember, inflation is the persistent increase of price of goods and services.
Yes.
Persistent increase of price of goods and services.
Yes.
Now the prices have come down.
Yes.
So meaning inflation has come down.
And that automatically will bring the interest rate down.
Exactly.
And again, the level of unemployment
will reduce. Because the moment the government increases interest rates whenever inflation goes up. Now we have said inflation has come down, even interest rates will go down. And whenever interest rate goes down, every Tom, Dick and Harry will now get a better opportunity to borrow from the banks, from the financial institutions. The companies, institutions will be able to borrow and invest, and invest heavily. So the level of production will increase,
and of course the Kenyan economy will thrive.
And when the level of production increases, it means people are being employed at a higher rate.
Yes.
Companies are looking for engineers. They are looking for accountants. They are looking for architects. They are looking for the economy is thriving. So we started, inflation comes down, interest rates come down, then the rate of unemployment, exchange rate goes down because we are no longer depending on dollars.
Yes.
So the economy improves
significantly.
And that's how China
And you have not said that we'll be able to pay the China loan because the economy, of course, will be doing well.
Yes. And yes, it's very important. It's very important.
Yes.
That we continue encouraging cordial relationship with the Chinese government because they are our creditors. We are their debtors. And there are times that as an economy, just like a business is unable to pay its loans at times, we would want to request for an extension of the repayment period or to be excused, to be given a better grace period.
Yes.
So if we find ourselves not in good terms with China,
yes,
we are the ones to suffer more.
We are the ones to suffer more. A question.
Yes.
I know a lot of those people who are demonstrating yesterday.
Yes.
Some of them are those who import goods from China. Though it's like you have answered, but do you think they are justified?
Whether they are justified?
Yeah. To oppose the China Square.
Yes. To answer that question, I would remind you that there is a time we used to have people who are selling movies in form of CDs. Yes. In every estate, we used to have CD shops.
Movie shops. Yes.
Movie shops. You would go there and ask him to sell to ban
a CD for me.
Yeah, a CD for you. They would sell a CD at 10 shillings.
No, 50 CD plus movie is 50.
Yes,
50 shillings.
Yes, it seems you are a very good customer to those guys.
Of course.
Do they still exist?
I think they are there, though. Right now,
yes,
I would say the demand for CD has gone down significantly.
Yes. So that the point is, there's a time we used to import those CDs.
Yes.
There is a point we used to import those CDs. Now, technology has moved to another level.
Yes.
Because change is inevitable. Now, we don't have to buy those CDs. You don't have to go to a movie shop to buy a CD. All you need to do is to subscribe to Netflix and then you'll be streaming those movies at the comfort of your home.
Yes. Oh yeah, that is true.
So if those guys, the ones who were selling to us those movies, if that time a Chinese company would have come in Kenya and said that we will sell movies to you at a cost of 30 shillings.
Yes.
As opposed to what the local traders are selling to you.
Yes.
They are selling to you, you have said, at 50 shillings. Okay? But now, a Chinese investor, assuming he would have come at that time and say that now, because we are able to source for these movies at a cheaper cost, we will now be selling to you, let's say even 20 shillings. Of course, every other person would have wanted to buy from those Chinese companies, but they would not have been allowed. The guys, the traditional movie sellers, the ones with the shops here in Kenya, would not have allowed, would have opposed. They would have succeeded. For sure, they would have succeeded. Just like recently, we have succeeded in closing down the China Square. But later on, when now the distribution of movies moved from being done through CDs to streaming, would they have succeeded?
No, they would not have succeeded.
They would not have succeeded because you cannot prevent me from subscribing to Netflix, a company that is in US, for me to be, if I find them they are cheaper, why not subscribe to them and efficient, reliable,
and you can watch anywhere,
and I can watch as many movies as possible
as you want.
Assuming I subscribe 1,000 per month, I can watch as many movies as I have time to watch.
Yes.
So these guys at that time, they would have had the ability, the power, and the mechanism to oppose anyone who would have threatened to import those movies in form of CDs at a cheaper price. But eventually, they would not have been able to sustain that.
Change will always come.
Change is inevitable. We saw the Uber people. When the traditional taxi guys, they were very opposed to the idea of Uber coming to Kenya.
And they were quite expensive.
They were quite expensive because they didn't have a competitor. And the way they were operating, the way even they were charging, they were pricing their services, it was not transparent.
Yeah, even for a very, very short distance.
Yes.
I think the least amount you could have paid is around 500, the least.
The least.
But right now,
yes,
with 200, I can go for a kilometer or two.
And they used to charge you with the way you are appearing. if you look as smart as I am, you would be charged 2,000.
2,000, yeah.
But someone else, probably who is smarter than me,
yes,
with a suit and a tie,
yes,
would be charged 5,000.
Yes.
So they would charge you the
way they want, the way they perceive you.
Yes, which is very unprofessional, because traders should not discriminate their customers. Now, the issue of Uber. Now the Uber came, and all of a sudden, yes, all you need to book a ride is a few clicks.
Smartphone and the Uber,
a few clicks.
Yeah.
And even before the guy comes, you already knows.
Yes.
You already know the number plate,
the name of the
driver, and the price.
Yes. That you are supposed to pay.
Yes. So it comes with a lot of convenience. Especially for people, and I'm one of those people that I don't like bargaining. And every time you go buy, you are going to buy even maybe a pair of shoes, there are people who would like to tell you this one is 5,000, and you know very well you bought a similar kind of shoes,
yes,
at a pair of shoes at about 1,000 just a month ago, and now you want to start negotiating from 5,000 until now you come to about 1,500, which is time wasting, and which is also
tedious,
and tedious. So the issue of the China Square, we might be able to push them away for now. But where we are headed in terms of technology, and the world has become one global village.
Yes.
We will not be able to resist that change. But now my question is, if we kick them out and the Ugandan government realizes this is an opportunity, and they create incentives,
yes,
for the China government to go and invest in their countries,
yes,
in their country.
Yes.
What will happen?
They will, of course, Uganda will grow.
Uganda will grow,
and for us Kenyans,
yes,
we'll go for goods and services from Uganda.
Yes. So these traders that we are protecting today, who, yes, are importing goods from China.
And of course, I know they are just a small percentage, because not every other person can be able to import.
Exactly.
It is I don't want to say dynasty, lakini.
Yes, for sure. For you to import goods from China, it's a very capital-intensive business.
Yes.
You need to have millions of money for you to be able to pay for the flight, and also to go buy a reasonable amount of goods.
Yes,
for
and
you
the cost of importation.
Yes. So that at the end of the day, you're able to make some profits from that.
So it is a very small margin.
So that's why we are saying, if the production and factories are done here, even the number of people who would have wanted to invest and venture into that kind of business will be able to get the opportunity, because now the mountain, if they say if Mohammed cannot go to the mountain, the mountain sometimes can go to Mohammed.
Yes,
Chinese wants to come here, and if it comes here, let's be open-minded. Let's think win-win
situation.
Yes,
let's look at the bigger picture.
We envision Kenya becoming an economic hub.
Yes.
Ugandans are coming here, Tanzanians are coming here,
yes,
Rwandese are coming here to buy. And when they buy, they will buy everything in Kenya shillings. The Chinese company that are here, they will make profit. Yes. But at the end of the day, Kenyans are employed. And I wonder, because it's very ridiculous. We are very talented in terms of sports. We have Eliud Kipchoge,
yes,
and other elite athletes. You know, if England or those other countries, they can say, because every other marathon that we said, it is won by Kenyans, Kenyans are giving us unfair advantage.
No, they are not. I mean,
they would say that. The way we are saying that Chinese, when they are bringing things here at a cheaper price, that they are being unfair to us. So what would we feel?
Discriminated.
Yes. If our athletes who carry our flag, our Kenyan flag high,
yes,
whenever they participate in those events, they are denied access. They are told, no, this competition, it's only for the locals.
Yes.
That's exactly what we are doing.
I get it.
That's exactly what we are doing. You know, even a country like US, whenever it issues green cards, is because it knows that foreigners, the ones who are going there with knowledge, with expertise, at the end of the day, yes, they will make money when they are there in the US, but US at the end of the day will be the biggest, will benefit more.
That is true. So we should look at the big picture. So my final question is,
yes,
do you think the government is justified to close the China Square, or should they let the China Square continue? So
it's if the government looks at the big picture,
yes,
the China, that if you want to go the China way, the way China grew is they created special economic zones. As right now we have something called EPZ, and EPZ is export processing zone. But export processing zone, and we have one at Athi River.
Yes, I know it.
Yes, companies that operate within that area, they produce goods that are meant for export only. They are meant for export. But now that's not good enough. We need to broaden. Actually, special economic zone is more superior than EPZ. Okay. Because now special economic zone also allows the factories or the companies that are operating within that border to also produce goods to be consumed locally. And that's what we want.
Yes.
Because when they are produced locally, not only for import, for export, when they are consumed, they are produced locally and consumed here, they will bring down the pressure of the dollar.
Because of course they will not be importing.
Will not be importing.
Some commodities.
Yes. So the government should look at the big picture and envision a way that Nairobi or Kenya can become an economic hub.
Yes.
Then, like now, Amazon is in China, Facebook is in China, Tesla is in China. All those big corporations are in China.
They are in China.
Why? Because China, they are creating a conducive environment for them.
Yes, and of course, by creating that, even them, they learn.
They learn. They earn more. They reduce the level of unemployment.
They better the economy. And their country develop.
It becomes a win-win.
Okay, I get it. Thank you so much. That is quite a discussion. I hope you have followed. Let us know what you think at the comment section. Please subscribe and share. See you next time. Goodbye.